Hello, my name is Mr. Chipman, and this is 5.2 Clear Cutting, Unit 5 AP Environmental Science. I teach biology and AP Biology at Murray High School in Murray, Kentucky, but here we are learning about clear cutting and AP Environmental Science. This is good stuff. I really have enjoyed teaching through this content. What is clear cutting? Clear cutting has to do with removing mass amounts of trees, particularly removing all or most trees from a single area in a single cutting. Obviously, the purposes for this are for harvesting wood. Wood has many different advantages for us, right? We all like to live in homes, which are primarily made of wood. And so, we like wooden things. And so wood is an obvious economic advantage. Short-term lumber yield, of course, is good for this. Reduces logging costs is an advantage as well, going out all at once and coming back all at once as opposed to several trips. Paper is another thing. Fuel, all these things are good advantages for this. Of course, the disadvantages are you have a whole lot less trees. Disadvantages are soil erosion. Trees, important part of that, keeping soil together. Water cycle disruption as well. Trees hold a lot of water, and so this creates some different patterns for that. Increased soil temperatures and stream temperatures because of the lack of shade. This can disrupt ecosystems. A lot of disadvantages to this as well as advantages. So let's look at the carbon cycle impact. Trees, specifically forests generally, act as carbon sinks, right? Carbon dioxide is the main component of photosynthesis, and carbon dioxide is something that is not good for most animals, or all animals for that matter, and trees need it to do photosynthesis and make glucose for those of us who like to eat, and it's a good thing. And so a lot of the CO2 that would otherwise be released into the atmosphere is sort of taken up into the plant and stored, and so this is a good thing. CO2 is not good for the environment, at least in large quantities, and trees act to sort of keep that, which is good. Ecosystem impacts, there are many. Obviously, habitat loss. Some animals live in the trees and under the trees and eat things that live there. And like this bear seems to be at a loss for what it's going to do now that it's having to sort of walk on tree stumps. Big thing here too is a couple of new ideas. Fragmenting ecosystems into individual smaller sections that don't really exist well on their own. There's another thing called the edge effect. The edge effect is where you create a transitional area between two distinct ecosystems that might not have otherwise been there, and this opens up animals to predation they may not have otherwise seen. This allows invasive species to move in and have a stronger foothold. It's a big deal. Aquatic ecosystems now that are no longer protected by trees are going to have increased temperatures. They're going to have soil runoff into those, changing the pattern and pathways of those streams and lakes, which is generally not good, right? Generally not good. Let's look at a couple case studies. Here's obviously one of the most famous is the removal of rainforests in South America, in particular Central America. Amazon River Basin is completely changed now because of the amount of rainforest that has been removed. Interesting thing about the soil here is very, very bad because the trees have held all the nutrients for years, right? These are really old trees, and the soil is not good for farming or anything really. It will take years for it to sort of develop. And it's just not been a good thing. Amazon River's drying up in a lot of areas because of the sedimentation and different things that are happening there, and just the change in the water cycle and the change in the carbon cycle in this area. It's been a very difficult to sort of quantify how this is going to affect the earth long term. This is a picture of a deforestation in Appalachia, or Lachia, however you pronounce it, wherever you're from. You probably pronounce it differently, and you probably care that I said it wrong, but that's why I said it both ways. A lot of trees removed. This is going to create flooding. It's going to create runoff. Stream degradation, we recently saw massive flooding in this area. And some of it is due to the fact that large areas have just been deforested and the water is no longer able to be contained as it once was. Let's look at some practice problem. Clearcutting a large section of forested land is economically profitable for the short term. However, which of the following describes a likely environmental consequence? So we're going down to ABCD, looking for something that's happening as a result of this. Increased forest canopy. We're not increasing the canopy by deforesting. A is not correct. Loss of trees increases soil erosion and raises stream temperatures. It does. I don't even need to look at C and D because I know that B is correct. Let's look at C and D real quick, though. Tree removal enhances carbon sequestration. It doesn't. It does the opposite of that. Clear cutting reduces habitat. No, it increases habitat fragmentation. B is the correct answer. I hope this was helpful. We're going to be looking at 5.3.